The last time I tried to go live on Instagram, it didn't work, but we'll find out.
Okay.
Let's see.
But if you go live now on Instagram, you can't tag me so I can join so we can be live together.
I'm gonna see. We're gonna pull up Facebook here,
Or maybe my TikTok.
and
I go live on TikTok.
let's see. Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. Let me see if I can edit. It doesn't let me tag. Oh. And then the company's Authentically Her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there it is. Perfect. Okay, so on Facebook, it won't let me like
What did
it
you just
won't
tag
let
me
me
on?
like
Which platform did you tag
yeah.
me
I tagged you in the
on? Which ones did you
post.
just tag
I don't
on
know.
Facebook?
Oh boy, I gotta go in here.
What platform is it?
Let's see. Let's make that go away. Okay. Um, Instagram just. Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, it's
What
gonna work on
Instagram?
Instagram. This is so fun.
Wait,
Yay.
don't do authentic. Do underscore the Empress
I don't
1115.
think it's gonna let me
Oh, I
tag
see you. I see you.
you on
It's live.
Instagram. If you
Uh-huh.
see the one on Instagram, you may be able to request.
Wait, I see it. Okay. Requested it. Oh, I joined. I joined.
Because um we're
It's a
not
little bit of a
like
lag, but I joined. I see myself.
authentically. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, oh look at us
I
go.
want it.
Oh my god,
Okay.
look at us go. This is so fun. Um, okay, I can tag all of the accounts when we're done.
Good.
But
Yes, that's fine.
cool.
That's great. You tagged Authentically Her and
On Facebook,
um
yeah,
and okay. All right.
yeah.
That's cool.
Is there
This
another
is cool.
one that
Don't
you
our
need me to put
Insta
in there?
is live. People, you tag my personal on Insta. You tag the business on Facebook. Yes.
I take personal and authentically her on Facebook, but I can go
And
back and update them
no,
when we
yeah,
done.
later. But as long
Yeah,
as right now we're live on my personal, it's great.
yeah. And that way you can share them and do whatever. And I'll send you this video when we're done too.
That's perfect. Perfect.
All right. All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of BloxFam Breakthroughs. It has been a minute, okay? We recorded so many of these episodes kind of late last year, maybe a couple earlier this year. But season 17 is officially out. It is officially live. We are kind of reliving this whole experience, which is kind of terrifying and exciting at the same time. So today I've got my girl Nafeesa with me. I'm so freaking excited because I have been watching her doing the damn thing all over social media lately. And I'm really excited to actually dive into what you're doing now as well. But because this is BloxFam Breakthroughs, we're going to kind of backtrack a little bit here, right? So I want to talk a little bit about our experience on the show. But before we do that, why don't you, tell everybody who you are and kind of what you do relating to the blocks. I know you, like me, are a multi-passionate person. For the sake of this podcast episode, let's your intro that we did 100 times while we were filming. Why don't you let everybody know who you are?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Nafeesa Abdul-Akbar. I am the founder and CEO of Authentically Her. Authentically Her is a brand that provides high-quality t-shirts and hoodies designed to empower women with bold messages of self-love.
Girl, I feel like your pitch, like your sentence, your introduction. Let's talk about that actually, because do you feel like that introduction changed a lot? Like during the show, through the show, do you feel like you had that nailed down before the show, or is that something you feel like you've kind of like grown into since then?
No, I actually memorized it before the show. So that's why I'm able to say
Okay.
it's been like a year since I've said it, but I memorized it before the show. I tried to make it succinct and quick. And so that hasn't changed as far as my brand, but I have changed since we did the show. So, I'm doing multifaceted things. Like you said, I've changed a lot, but I don't know if you want me to wait till we talk about that. But yeah, so that hasn't
Yes.
changed, but I've changed.
Yeah. Well, we all change, right? We all change every single freaking day. And I think that's actually,
Yes.
kind of really important. If we're not changing,
Yeah.
we're staying in the same place. And that's same place, same for me. I don't like that. I don't like that. So, okay. So let's backtrack here in the beginning so that we can
Mhm.
leave some time at the end to talk about now. Let's think back.
Okay.
Okay. So it has been literally almost a year since
Yeah.
we were in Tulsa together filming. And holy shit, do you even remember what you were feeling leading up to filming day, like maybe like a week before, or even like your travel to Tulsa? Like, what were you feeling before the show?
Yeah. So I do remember I was really nervous, but not as nervous as I was once I got there.
Sure.
But I kind of was disconnected from what I was about to do. Like I was just kind of going through the motions and getting on the airplane, so forth, so on. But excuse me, I was nervous, I was excited, but I was ready too.
Yeah. Like, do you
Mhm.
feel like when you say that you were maybe even more nervous when you got there? Why would you say that?
Mhm. It wasn't until I got there and the cameras were on me that I realized I was on a damn TV show. Like I was like, it sounded really cool. Like I'm going to be on a TV show. I was selected out of hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs. I'm the bomb, right? And then I sit down and they start asking questions, and I'm like, wait a minute, hundreds of thousands of people are going to see me. I just started freezing up. I started like not knowing what to say and got all nervous. They're judging me. That's how I felt. So then I kind of didn't get to enjoy the experience as much as I would have wanted to because I was so nervous.
Yeah. How long do you feel like you got less nervous like along the way? Like how long would you say it took you to kind of feel like you could breathe? Like it was still nerve-wracking. Like the whole week was still nerve-wracking, but I do feel like the amount of like excitement and nerves and all of the things like in my chest, the check-in and
Mhm.
your intro filming thing and everything.
Yeah.
Like I was just like I can't even talk.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I felt like once we got into day one and Wes started teaching, I personally felt a little bit more like at bay, like
Okay.
a little bit more like, okay, I'm here for this. This is what I'm here for. Did
Okay.
you did you have that feeling at all, or did you spend the whole week pretty much like super super nervous?
Well, I did get more comfortable after a few days when working with the judges.
Yep.
And so my conversations with the judges, the one-on-ones in the rooms, flowed much better. However, the check-in video with the young lady one-on-one, again, I have no idea what I said. I was so nervous. Like I don't even know what I said. I don't know what I said, literally. So I don't know if my check-in made it to the show yet. I haven't seen it yet, but the actual interviews, I got more comfortable as time went on. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like um there was so much unknown, right? Like when we were going, there was so much unknown. There was so much like I don't know what to expect. And I think that was a lot behind the nerves and stuff. And as soon as I had Haley as a judge the first day, and her energy was just like I could not have asked for a more perfect judge on day one because she was
Yeah.
just such a hype girl, such a positive light,
Yeah.
just everything about her was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is gonna be okay.
Right. She's the one that made us work out, right?
Yeah, yes, she's the cheerleader. She was just phenomenal, and I felt like that just really helped kind of like to start the week. So um
Yeah.
what do you feel like, what was the hardest part for you during the week, like of the entire experience? What do you feel like was like the hardest thing for you?
It's a good question. I honestly, it feels like the hardest part for me was overcoming myself. Like I
Yeah.
was the issue. I was nervous. I didn't come in with as much clarity as I thought I had. Once we started breaking things down, I was like, oh, wait, I'm not doing that. Oh, I didn't know I needed that. Oh, I guess I do. So there was a combination of that and the nerves and, watching other people, get it right. And then me being like, I want to go up there. And then I'm like, wait a minute, no, I don't, I really don't want to be up there. Like all of that. Um, that was the hardest part, was my own self and my own nerves through the whole process.
Yeah, I think that's great of you to say, because I think that um as humans, a lot of times we look outward for like, what's the problem here? What is stopping me? What is, what are all of these things? And it's more often than not the internal pointing that we need to do, and like really realize and recognize that, like, yes,
Absolutely.
maybe there are these like obstacles, but like I'm the one that's stopping myself. Like I'm the one
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Do you feel like
There were
the
no qualms. It was just me.
yeah, yeah, oh my god, it's hard because now it's so long ago, right? That I feel like it's almost hard for me to depict very certain specific situations. I did do like, me and my CFO did some confessionals every day to sort of like recap the
Mhm.
days. And so I'm glad I have that to just kind of like be like, oh yeah, that's how we were feeling. But um on the
Mm,
flip side of that,
that's a good
what do you feel
idea.
like was the easiest part for you? What do you feel like you felt like you were in your stride? What do you feel like was your most confident part of the week?
Yeah, my most confident part of the week was connecting with other entrepreneurs. The downtime that we had where we could sit and eat and drink something and just chat, like those were the times where I was able to be myself. I wasn't nervous, even though I knew cameras were around, they were kind of like far off, it wasn't right in my
Yeah.
face. And so, I made some connections with people who are going to be lifelong friends. I learned about some amazing products. Like some of our, almost all of us, I'm going to say almost all of our counterparts have amazing, amazing brands and products. And
Yeah.
so I said almost at first because I didn't get to meet everyone. I only got to meet a small amount. But the people who I did meet and talk to, you know, bonds created, bought some of their products, interested in working with them still. So just the relationship building was the easiest part for me.
Yeah, I love that. And what's funny about the show being out now and having this conversation is that, and I'm like ashamed to say this, but like there are people on the show that I did not ever feel like I even saw them.
I
much
didn't. That
less
happened to me too.
much less meet them and like get to talk to them. I was like, I don't
Where was
remember
I?
you.
Yes,
I was like, oh my God.
yes.
But I mean, I feel like I guess that's part of it, when you're in a group of 100
A
people.
hundred, yeah.
And I do feel like our pods, we were in the same pods with some of the same people a lot.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I kind of feel like that was part of it, right? Because the pods, I feel like, is where you really were staring at someone for for a certain amount of time while they were
Uh-huh.
presenting. But
Yeah.
I was just mind blown how even on the last day of filming, I remember walking to the dining room and being like, never even seen that person. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? And now watching it live is like, yeah, I definitely never saw that person.
Definitely
I
never saw that person.
have no idea who this person is. So it's really interesting. But so one of my favorite parts of the show being out now is kind of getting to see the stories play out for each person, like
Mm-hmm.
to see. So Andrew was one of my favorite humans, and he was so nervous. He talks about being so nervous all the time, and he has so much screen time, and it is so like genuine, and it's so like so good. And to see because he's in a totally different direction now than he was on the show.
Mm.
And to see some of these people that you built these relationships with and you talk to now and whatever, but you weren't necessarily a part of their story while we were filming.
Right.
And so to watch everybody's like story and like just kind of like how they're featured, to just like watch all of it come to life, I just think it's so
Yeah.
interesting, it's so fun. It's like we all went to this show and we have people at home who are like, oh, this is so cool, I can't wait to watch it. And now I'm sitting here like, look at my friend, she's on TV. And I was like, wait, I met that friend on that show. It's like this whole other world of like having friends in high places, right? Like
Yes.
we're all on this level. So okay, so when I know that you are a multi-passionate, I know you were doing multiple things.
Uh-huh.
Authentically Her
Yes.
is what was on the show.
Yes.
How do you feel like when you think about your time there and maybe even the time shortly after,
Hmm.
do you feel like there was actually no, let's backtrack.
Okay.
In the week specifically, while we were filming and like crapping our pants while we were trying
Yeah.
to make a thing,
Yeah.
do you feel like you had any like major breakthroughs during the week that you were just kind of like, oh, I see it differently, or like, the definition of a breakthrough is a sudden or dramatic and important discovery or development.
Yeah.
So when you think about the week and the things that we learned, and the lessons and all of that, do you feel like you had any specific breakthrough moments while we were filming?
I feel like there were a lot of them, honestly.
Yeah.
But the one, it's been so long, but the one that's, popping out for me as we speak would be the lesson we learned about our websites and just about like what you work with copy and things like that. Like there were things that I didn't consider because honestly, I started my brand as a passion project. And so I wasn't coming at it from this whole thing of making it look this way aesthetically. I was trying to make it look as good as I could, but it really was like, I believe in this. Women need this. Let me get it out. Right. And so going to the show was teaching me like the back end of how to properly get it out and make things
Mm.
look this way. And, that this one website they showed us just like, I think it was like a face cream, but it was just so beautiful. I was just like, I want that, and I wanted that face cream. And I was like, I need to figure out how to do that with my shirts. So that was an aha moment for me because I didn't realize that it didn't really matter what your product was. It was about how you presented it and how you structured everything that really could call people in. I was just like, my brand's going to call them in because the messages on my shirts is going to call them in. I didn't really think
Yeah.
it through. So there was an aha there for me about how to properly, get the copy and the look just right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there were a lot of really good Wes was a really good teacher in the aspect of how he, presented things and how he compared things and how he, everything about the way he teaches, I loved. And I think
He's
that
so down to earth. Like I appreciate that he remembers where we were and he talks about it and he can give us and present us things in the way of where he used to be, which is where we are. I really appreciated that.
1,000%, that
Mhm.
whole relatability aspect, right? And when you talk about the website and in parts like that, obviously that's my realm of a lot of things, and
Yeah.
it is more a lot about the feeling, like you said, when you went to this website and you were like, I need this face cream. I know nothing about this face cream, but I feel I need this, and that is a lot of the foundations of building a brand, whether it's a service or a product or a whatever, is how you make them feel, right? So if we think back to our time filming and you think back to all the feelings that we had, those are the deliverables, right? Like it's
Right.
not even about the fact that we had this many lessons and we had these meals and we had these rooms and we had like it's almost never about the tangible. It's almost always about the feeling, right?
Yeah.
I will sit on the soapbox of experience trumps product or service every day of the week. Every day.
Yeah.
Because when somebody has a good experience, what do? They talk about it, right? They talk about it and they obsess over it, and like that is by far the cheapest and most efficient marketing tactic is, once you can focus on how to get someone to feel a certain way, then
Yeah.
tell someone they felt that way, now that person feels that way. I mean, it's like it's incredible.
I didn't
So
think about that.
do you
Huh.
have any other breakthroughs that you feel like you had during that week that pop up?
I mean, again, it's been so long. I hearing some of the stories of some of the judges were kind of like aha moments for me too. Working with people. Okay, the whole thing was an aha. Let's say it there. Because as an entrepreneur, a lot of times in your day-to-day life, you're kind of in a silo. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
your friends and family are like, girl,
That's
I'm going to
cute.
work.
That's
Your
cute.
little business. But then to be in a room with people who are like, yeah, I had that exact moment and here's what I did then. Or just being able to understand how you're feeling. Um, that was a breakthrough for me because I was like, wait, I'm not alone. I'm not by myself. I know going in that there were 100 entrepreneurs I was working with, but it's just all kind of words until you have the experience, right? When you're in
Mhm.
the room with these people, when you're talking to someone who says, I did this, 15 years ago, I was right where you were, and I'm telling you to keep going. Those moments where they gave those motivational speeches, the candid moments like really hit home for me because they like kind of kept me going,
Mhm.
not only during the show but after the show, because
Yeah.
I was again able to understand that there are people out here who know exactly what I'm going through, who've been there, who've done it, and are successful, and so shall I be.
Yes, and I love that because I feel like it's important to always recognize that, I feel like as a society everything is like about how different we all are. And when you can be in a room with that many people and really start to realize we're not that different, you and I, right? We may be on different roads and different timelines and different, whatever, we're like we're really not that different.
Right.
And I think the number one thing I took away from the week was the energy, was the room, right? Because I came home and was like, I am gonna make sure that I am auditing my time and energy, and making sure that I am putting myself in the right rooms, not just a bunch of rooms, right? The right rooms, and really like building momentum from that energy because I
Yeah.
felt, I mean, I came home and probably slept for like 2 days because
Yeah.
I was so tired. But I also came back so deeply energized to make some of those changes and to really focus on um more of the things that matter and less of the things that are noise, right? Like
Yeah.
we are professionals at making ourselves seem busy because we are surrounded by noise, right? Social
Right.
media this, social media that. Well, like I kind of still to this day, I'm barely on social media. I just it's not healthy for me. It's not it's way too easy to get sucked in. And
Yeah.
so I am much more intentional about the showing up and what I'm putting out there and all of that because I'm in a phase and era of like protecting my energy, right?
Yeah.
Like it is my energy, it is mine to give, it is mine to keep. So that was kind of like I think that's what I took the most out of the show.
Mm.
When you think about the experience as a whole, what do you feel like when people ask you about it, right? Because everybody's now that it's out, right? Everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's so cool!" Da, da,
Uh-huh.
da. Like, what are you saying about it? What experience are you talking about?
I talk again, I really use the experience to introspect. Like I talk about how much I've changed.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think while I was doing everything I was doing that it really was hitting me. This is so cool. This is major. It was just like one more thing on my bucket list. Check. And I really wasn't connected to that. And so, when I speak to people about it, I'm like, I've changed. I learned a lot, but it really stretched me as a person to be able to, keep a clear head, learn something, and be able to present on it immediately after to a group of strangers with a judge and cameras. And so I kind of felt like if I can do that, I can do anything at this point.
Yes, I love that. So you keep saying you're changed, you're a new person. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about what that cuz that itself is a breakthrough. What Tell me about that breakthrough. Tell me about that transition.
Yeah, well, Authentically Her is still my baby. People can still go on authenticallyher.com and grab an empowering t-shirt or hoodie for a family member or a friend or themselves.
Mhm.
But what I have been doing more recently is actually becoming a coach for other entrepreneurs. As I was going through the process of the show, I also was in a mentorship and I was learning about how to scale and all the other things. It was kind of concurrent. I was learning all the same things at the same time. But I was still kind of behind the scenes. Like I wanted to do it, just for Authentically Her and just for myself. But as I started to learn more, I thought about like, as I was coming through the process, there were some holes. There were some things that I wish there was someone who could teach me this way, this thing. And so I decided I need to be that person, just like with my brand. I'm that person who gives what people were looking for in that area. And so now I coach other entrepreneurs and how to properly structure their business, fix their credit, and get funded.
That's amazing. So tell me about this whole inner circle thing you were just a part
Inner
of, because that thing
circle.
looked so freaking cool. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that he did an event here this past week at the co-working space that I was at 2 days before, like
You're
at the
talking about my
same
coach,
place.
Smitty the Goat.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. How did I
So
not know this?
Smitty the Goat is the GOAT, greatest of all time. Yeah, I'm in his inner circle. So true story. I started working with Smitty by joining one of his other mentorships that he did with two other millionaires. So Smitty and two other millionaires, I was in a mentorship with three millionaires, learning about how to fund my freedom. That was the challenge, the Fund Your Freedom Challenge. And, it was all about structuring your business, fixing your credit, getting to the funding, and becoming free as an entrepreneur. But after I was done, I was like, wait a minute, I want more. So I worked with one of the other mentors. And so, like, I just got to say to everybody, like, investing in yourself and putting in the personal work is priceless, right? So I invested in the mentorships. They were really high ticket, learned a whole lot, started doing some things. But the second mentorship I did really taught me that the information I was learning was really, really great. But it was kind of, I felt like it was like for later. Like it was like, I want to do these things, but that's not really my passion. I learned about like real estate. I learned about business acquisition. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go buy some businesses. I was like jumping all around. I'm going to buy some businesses. I'm going to get some real estate. And I was like, yeah, but that's not really me, right?
Yeah.
And so I decided to work with Smitty. And Smitty's inner circle, are other millionaires who are helping people, but the brand is themselves. You know, they come with their expertise and share it with other people and help other people to thrive. And I'm like, that's really more who I am. I mean, even in my past career, before I was an entrepreneur, I was a counselor and a guidance counselor. And so I guide people, I help people. And I'm like, that's really who I
Yeah.
am. So I want to do both. I want to guide people and help people and be paid to be myself. And so that's why I decided to join the inner circle. And that's why you see me doing what I'm doing, trying to get out there and help other entrepreneurs to get on the boat and accomplish their
I
goals and dreams.
love that. I love that. I will make sure to get that new information from you as well, to make sure that we can link all of that in the show notes. What is the person, like, who is the target client for that?
The target client are, I really like to work with women, but it could be men too, but women who are entrepreneurs who are stuck. They don't know what to do. They have a business idea or they have a business, but they got a little bit of piece here, a little bit there. They don't know how to put it all together. They want to be able to take that leap and do their business all 100% of the time and not just have a job where they're unhappy in. So if it's you, someone who's working a job, but you're a born entrepreneur like me, that's my
Yes,
ideal
I
client.
love that. We will make sure that we link that, because I think there's a lot of people out there who are like, "Oh, she sees me. She sees me."
I see you. I was you. I am you, you
Absolutely.
know?
And that's so good that you just said that, because I'm reading this book as I am, really fleshing out the signature offer for our branding agency. And I've heard this before, but I don't know why this time around it just like hit me different. But it was and of course I'm not going to remember it exactly, but it was basically saying that, like, you are the your target client is the person you once were. Like, you are the most
Absolutely.
fit to serve the person you once were. And I find that really
Right.
powerful, and maybe I find that a different level of powerful now in my life, because before TheBlox, we were a marketing agency that was really just like trying to figure out where our place was. We were serving a lot of clients who were throwing money at the wrong problems. And I don't feel like I necessarily always did a good job of making sure that I was helping them solve the right problem, because they hired me to
Mm.
do a thing. And that's what they hired me for. And they didn't hire me to tell them that this isn't what they should be doing. Right. So I decided that right before TheBlox, like 2 weeks before TheBlox, I was ready to burn everything down. I was ready to back out of going to Tulsa. I was in a position where I was
Wow.
just like, no, I'm burning it all down. I'm done. This is so dumb. I'm done. And so my CFO and I, before we left for Tulsa, we sort of fleshed out what the pivot would be. And so while we're on the show, we had actually not pivoted yet. We were pitching who we are now, which in hindsight was the right move. But it was very interesting to be pitching the company we wanted to be prior to. Very interesting. In hindsight,
Wow.
it was like, back then it was like kind of going through the motions, like, kind of just
Yeah.
doing, not really thinking. There was no time to think.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about me. That's
There was
how I
no time
felt.
to think. We just did. But in a hindsight, I think to myself that I love the place I'm in now. I love the clients I'm working with now. I love the approach that I'm doing now. And I feel like I'm like you. I am meant to guide and to help and to go deeper and to like be a fun therapy type of situation, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like in hindsight, it is so interesting how I was able to sort of like articulate the future. And I'm not this
Mm.
huge manifester, or like I'm not really fully invested in anything like that, but if that taught me anything, like maybe that is real, right? Like maybe if what you
Yeah.
say you can do one way or another, right?
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
I love that. I don't know why that quote came back to me differently this time around, of that fact that when you are figuring out who your target client is and who it is that you're serving, you really start to think about the person you once were. And I love
Yeah.
that you're embracing this whole changed person, right? Like this whole like, so many people are afraid of change, and I feel like what better way to just sort of like empower people to make a change than to do something like this, right? And now to talk about this experience and how it's changed and how our lives have changed, from making the choice to do something hard, right? Choose your heart.
Can I just say something about that? I gotta say, like, the
Mhm.
fear, is what keeps
Mhm.
people stuck. And
Yeah.
I was stuck. I just did a post about this the other day because even while I was in the mentorships that I was in and I learned crazy amounts of information, I did not take
Mhm.
action. I just had notebooks and notebooks and notebooks and aha moments and fire emojis and but I was afraid because the evolution was so
Mhm.
rapid. The up level that I wanted for sure, which is why I went into it. It was just so quick. It just seemed like a whole different person. It was another me. It was, I don't even know. I think my reticular nervous system just was like, scary, scary, don't do it. And so I was inactive for a while, and I am angry with myself about it now. But there was a good few months, almost a year, where I just accumulated information, didn't really do
Yeah.
anything with it. So what you see now is me finally taking action. Shout out to Taylor, my mentor. He's like, do it. And I'm like, do it scared. And I'm like, I'm scared. Do it scared. And so that's what I've been doing. And so I encourage everyone, just
Yes.
do it scared. And if you don't know how to do it, just
I
join me.
was
I'll
just
help
gonna
you.
say, like, that is the number one thing that when I do workshops and networking events and things like that, like, they're action focused. Like, I am action focused in what we're doing here, because it doesn't have to always be scary either. Like, the step that you think is scary can be broken down into 10 steps that are still scary, but they have a small amount of scare, right? Because if you do not take action, action does not happen, right? Like, you have
Right.
to be able to put things into action. So I love that you said that. Oh my god, I love that. We are like action takers. Look at us. I freaking love it. What last kind of like questiony topicy thing is, what advice, and I feel like you just gave it, but let's try to give them one more. What
All
advice,
right.
or tips would you share for, other entrepreneurs based on this experience of doing something scary, of choosing to go for it?
I'm going to say something that I know we've all heard, but it is listen
Mhm.
to yourself. If you have a desire to do something, it's because it was inspired and a part of who you are in your destiny. And so for years, I ran away from entrepreneurship. And I always would come back to it because it's who I am. And so it's who you are. Listen to yourself, Don't run from it. Embrace it. Become it. Be it.
Yes. And like we just said a second ago, take action.
And do it scared.
Do it scared.
Do it scared, because I do it
Do it
scared
scared.
all
Do
the
it
time.
messy. Do it upside down. Do whatever you got to do. Just fucking do it.
Do it.
I love that. Okay, so I love to wrap these episodes with just some like super random rapid fire questions that are just kind of like personal and fun. What is the most unexpected thing you've learned as an entrepreneur?
My ideas are not as new as I think they are.
That's a good one.
You know, like you think that's it, this is the one, and someone else has already done it and done it better.
Yeah.
Damn it. You know, so but what I did learn about that is the way you do it is what makes the difference. So we could all be doing the same thing, but my people, my product is the same, but different because it comes through me.
You are the magic. You are the magic. The thing is not the magic. You are the magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so are you, other entrepreneurs.
All right. Are you a coffee person or a tea person? And how do you like it? Coffee all day.
Coffee. I'm a coffee person to the point where I'm dehydrated. I like my coffee. I really like my cream with coffee. Like a lot of cream. I usually get a flavored cream, no sugar, just flavored cream and coffee.
Hot or cold?
Like a barista. I have like a million hot creamers. Hot. 1 cup a day, just 1 cup in the morning.
Yeah, I switched to cold because I can't keep it hot. So I
will drink it cold.
I don't drink it fast enough. That's a whole nother problem. Are you an early bird or a night owl? Like, what is your zone of genius time?
I think I'm a little bit of both. Like I get up really early, but I probably would say I'm a night owl because I have little ones, and so when they go to sleep and I just have that time to myself, you know, that's when I usually come alive. So I probably say a night owl.
What is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I love that.
That and Seinfeld. Yeah, Seinfeld and Curb. Like, you know, if I have a free moment and I could just sit and, you know, Curb's got a lot of cursing, a lot of like really adult stuff. So it's a guilty pleasure. But that would be
I love it.
My one.
All right, last one. I have like a little bank over here of like questions. What is your favorite app or tool that you can't live without?
Oh boy. Probably Instagram. I do love it. Yeah, I don't know if I can't live without an app. Gosh, that's a good one. There's probably going to be something else that comes to me when I hang up. And I'm going to say, tag it, that was it. But for now, for all intents and purposes, I would say Insta.
I love it. All right, Nafeesa, I know that your energy and my energy together, we are just a ball of freaking energy. I love it. How can people get in touch with you, or where is the best place for people to find you?
Yeah, on Instagram @_the_Empress1115. DM me. I will see you also on TikTok. I am Akbar the Empress on TikTok. And on Facebook, I'm Nafeesa Abdul-Akbar. Also Authentically Her and Authentically Her, and all platforms. It's the same. So any of those want to DM me, any of those different apps or streaming locations. What's the word? Locations?
Platforms, I think. Platforms.
There it is. I have my coffee. There it is. Any of the platforms.
I will make sure that I link them all in the notes so that, you know, whoever is on whatever platform, they can get right to you. So, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode of BloxFam Breakthroughs. I'm Jessi, and we're out. Bye.